So, in Bundesliga news, right? Same day as there were three games. It was Lazio versus AC Milan in the Serie A. We had a game between Stellenbosch and Chippa United in the DStv Premiership. Plus, we had SC Freiburg taking on Bayern Munich in the German Bundesliga. So yeah, that's where we at right now. SC Freiburg, right, 2. Bayern Munich 2. Okay? So what does that mean? That basically means that Bundesliga, the Bundesliga title is slipping away from Thomas Tuchel's side. Because now Bayern Munich are just dropping more points. And Bayern Munich, remember, they were held to a 2-2 draw at Freiburg. The hosts went ahead through Christian Günther, but goals from Matthias Tell as well as Jamal Musiala had Bayern Munich on course for a win. However, a late equalizer by Lucas Holler put Bayer Leverkusen in firm control of the title race. So, disadvantage for Bayern Munich. Disadvantage for Thomas Tuchel's men. The Bundesliga title is slipping away from Bayern Munich after Thomas Tuchel's side dropped more points with the 2-2 draw away at SC Freiburg. Freiburg forward Lucas Holler scored an 87th minute goal to actually snatch a point for the hosts and further dent Bayern Munich's title hopes. It has been that kind of a season for Bayern Munich. It has been that kind of a season because now the Bundesliga title is slipping away from them. They have been knocked out of the DFB Pokal Cup, which is like the German Cup, and they are trailing against against Lazio going into the second leg of the Champions League last 16. So it has just been that kind of season for Thomas Tuchel's men. Another thing to actually mention that is worth mentioning, right, is that now this draw leaves Bayern Munich 7 points behind log leaders Bayer Leverkusen, who can basically open up the gap at the top of the table to 10 points with a win over Cologne on Sunday, in a game which will be shown live, right? And what can I say? Freiburg started and ended the game very well. They took the lead in the 12th minute through captain Christian Günther's powerful strike. However, Bayern Munich did hit back, and as expected, they did hit back. They did. It was a rocket shot from Matthias Tell, basically on the 35th minute before Jamal Musiala's solo run. That was basically a great solo effort from Jamal Musiala. It looked to be sending the visitors to a crucial victory. But again, if you don't just put the game to bed, unfortunately, you will be punished. And that's exactly what happened to Bayern Munich. Holler's late show stunned Tuchel's side, and their Bundesliga title hopes hang by a thread ahead of a crunch Champions League round of 16 second leg tie against Lazio in midweek. How can I even say this? Once again, Bayern Munich now have lost more ground in the race for the title. And you look at it for the fact that Bayern Munich, they understood, they knew that anything less than victory, at Freiburg would hand over would hand Bayer Leverkusen, a huge advantage in the title race. They knew that for a fact that 3 points was nothing less than negotiable, right? But Tuchel's side, they started the game very slowly, which is just unlike them. I think they underestimated their opponents. You look at the way the host started. The host started full of intent, and they got their reward early on. Manuel Neuer made a fine save to actually stop Roland Salah's header. Then Salah, hit the crossbar with an overhead kick. That was crazy, man. And then the rebound fell to Günther, who struck the ball perfectly to send it inside the far post. Bayern Munich eventually got going, and they finished the first half the strong of the two sides. They were level in the 35th minute when Tell, making a restart because of Leroy Sané's injury, shifted the ball inside, with his first touch and fired a powerful right-footed shot past goalkeeper Noah Atubolu, to say the least. And from that particular moment in time, Bayern Munich's improvement continued after the break. And Atubolu, had to alert. He had to be alert. You understand? Because if he was not alert, Musiala would have put Bayern Munich ahead. So he did very well to actually deny Jamal Musiala before Holler cleared Harry Kane's header off the line. However, Bayern Munich, thought they were on course for all 3 points when Musiala weaved his way through the Freiburg defense and then curling his shot inside the far post. What a brilliant goal that was from Musiala. Wonderful. It shows that, this kid, his quality is just immense. It's on another level. And, however, it was actually Holler who had the final say, as his fine volley handed Bayer Leverkusen the chance to go 10 points clear at the top. And records state that, look, this was Bayern Munich's 2000. You understand? 2000 Bundesliga match. Tell made his first Bundesliga start of the season following a league, high of 19 appearances as a substitute. Now the French teenager scored his first goal since Matchday 5. He now has 9 Bundesliga goals overall. Musiala's goal was his 30th in the Bundesliga overall, making him the youngest Bayern player to ever achieve that tally. And then Gunther's goal was the first Freiburg have scored outside of the box in this season. So records have just been broken. All in the space of 90 minutes. You understand? And unfortunately for Bayern Munich, the title is slowly slipping away from them. Because now Freiburg will be hosting West Ham United in the first leg of their Europa League last 16 clash on Thursday, while Bayern Munich entertain Lazio, looking to overturn a 1-0 deficit in the second leg of the UEFA Champions League round of 16 tie on Tuesday at the Allianz Arena. So, yeah, all to play for FC Bayern Munich, the Bavarians. And what can I say? I guess Bayern Leverkusen deserve to win the league. You understand? Because Bayern Munich are slipping. You understand? So they really deserve to win it. They've done so well. And besides, remember, they remain the only team that is unbeaten in Europe's top 5 leagues. So they remain on course to actually clinch the Bundesliga title. Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to Football is a Religion. I'm your host, Bubesi Mpati Yomhlaba. Bubesi Mpati Yomhlaba is your host today, and today we will be discussing some Bundesliga action. I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope you guys have had a great weekend wherever you are, and I hope you guys have really enjoyed the football. Let me just come back here and update you guys on all the footballing action that took place worldwide. And we're going to start with some Bundesliga action. So, Bayern Munich 8, Mainz 1. So, another record, another milestone for the English talisman Harry Kane. So Harry Kane has now taken his goal tally to 40 goals for Bayern Munich and England this season. Harry Kane became the first man to score 4 hat-tricks in his debut season as Bayern Munich reduced Bayer Leverkusen's advantage to 7 points, right? And with Leverkusen hosting Wolfsburg on Sunday, Bayern Munich looked to maintain the pressure on the runaway leaders, and they responded with an emphatic win over relegation-threatened Mainz at the Allianz Arena, isn't it? So, let's get straight to it. Let's cut the chase. The England captain, Harry Kane, he has now taken his goal tally to 30 goals in 25 Bundesliga games, as well as even providing a wonderful assist for Jamal Musiala, who is destined to head to the Premier League next season, as it has been reported that he hasn't renewed his contract with the Bavarians. Bayern Munich are aiming for a record-extending 12th successive title, but their tight grip on the Bundesliga is under severe threat of being lifted by Xabi Alonso's impressive Leverkusen. So the Bayern Munich manager Thomas Tuchel insists his side, who put their domestic woes behind them to reach the Champions League quarterfinals on Tuesday, are not giving up any hope. Well, we do know that the former Chelsea manager said that, they understood the reality of the situation, and he promised Bayern Munich that he would try to continue, to actually make some statements of intent on the field of play. So basically, this clinical performance against Mainz was certainly that. After Kane tapped in the opener, Leon Goretzka doubled the advantage by reacting first to the England striker hitting the post from Joshua Kimmich's quick free kick. And from that particular moment in time, we saw Mainz reduced the gap through Nadiem Amiri, but Kane again struck once again before the halftime with a clinical finish. That's just what Kane does best. You understand? Doing what he does best. And any hope for Mainz of going into the second half was extinguished when Thomas Müller scored the 4th in similar fashion to Bayern's opener. As with Kane's first, Musiala was the creator with the pinpoint low cross from the left, and the veteran Germany international Müller was waiting to stroke in the ball. As Mainz applied pressure in the hope of reducing the deficit, they were punished once again. Kane broke quickly and picked out Musiala with a superb crossfield pass, which the Germany winger dispatched before Serge Gnabry audaciously faked in a 6th goal. Kane, who signed for almost 90 million euros from Tottenham last summer, then completed his brilliant hat-trick with his 40th goal for club and country this season, with Goretzka adding an 8th in injury time. So it was basically an emphatic performance by Bayern Munich, and it was like a statement, boosting performance for them going into the Champions League and going into the final few games of the season. And we hope to continue seeing this kind of momentum for them. But I sincerely don't see them winning the Bundesliga, as Bayer Leverkusen, the deserved leaders, deserve to win this title. And maybe Bayern Munich will just try again next season. Maybe they should just turn their focus to the UEFA Champions League. Because I do tip them amongst Manchester City, Real Madrid, as well as Inter Milan to actually, clinch this season's UEFA Champions League, and hope to see them at Wembley Stadium, in June. Yeah, the German Bundesliga, let's just be honest, the German Bundesliga is done and dusted. It is done and dusted. Done and dusted. Let's just be honest. It's not yet confirmed, I know. We still have a few more games to go, but it's done and dusted, man. Because now, Bayer Leverkusen, they beat 10 men, VfL Wolfsburg by 2-0 on Sunday to actually restore their 10-point lead at the top of the Bundesliga table. And now they stay firmly on course for their first Bundesliga title. So it was Florian Wirtz, who hit the post in the 22nd minute before the visitors went down to 10 men following a second bookable offense for, Moritz Jens, 6 minutes later. And it just did not take long for the host to actually make the extra man advantage count, and Nathan Teller found enough space in the box to actually head in, and Alejandro Grimaldo, crossed in the 37th minute of the game. So Wirtz, made amends for his earlier miss, volleying in their second goal in the 87th minute to actually seal their win and set a new club record with their 25th consecutive league game without defeat. Jesu, 25 league games without defeat. Bayer Leverkusen, the genius on the touchline. This is the touchline genius. Touchline genius, Xabi Alonso. So now Xabi Alonso's team are now unbeaten in all 36 games this season across all competitions. And they're basically on 67 points, with champions Bayern Munich on 57 following their 8-1 demolition of Mainz on Saturday at the Allianz Arena. Speechless. Absolutely speechless. Alright. Again, another Bundesliga action. We did see Werder Bremen taking on Borussia Dortmund, right? And the score resulted in a 2-1 victory for the away side, which was Borussia Dortmund. And it was Jadon Sancho's strike, that handed the 10-man Borussia Dortmund a victory over Werder Bremen, as they were down to 10 men, and they held on for a crucial 3 points. You understand, to actually keep their hopes of qualifying for next season's Champions League alive. You understand? So it was the 10 men of Borussia Dortmund that held on to a fourth place with a nervy finish. It was basically a nervy victory for them at Werder Bremen, which was secured by Daniel Malin and Jadon Sancho's strikes. So how can I say it? Dortmund, combined very well, from the onset of that game, right? And they looked, to respond, to Leipzig, to their defeat of Leipzig, beating Darmstadt, 2-0 earlier on in the afternoon to actually reclaim their top 4 spot. And it was basically the hosts who had the better early openings. Despite the visitors bossing the ball, Marvin, Dukish, squandered an early opening before flagged for offside, and Mitchell Visa, drew a save from Gregor Kobel from a corner, and Dortmund suddenly burst through the hosts' defense as we saw Niklas Süle, pass the ball to Julian Brandt, and Brandt was able to crack a shot on goal, and Daniel Malin, pounced on the rebound in an acrobatic fashion. So it was basically a moment of brilliance from Jadon Sancho that saw, Borussia Dortmund get a double, as the English winger. He chased around Julian Malatini and drifted behind the Bremen backline before slotting a splendid strike. Bremen then pushed, at the end of the half, with the curling Dukish free kick being saved by Kobel, while Marcel Sabitzer, straight red card in the stoppage time gave, Werder Bremen some renewed sense of hope, going into the second 45 minutes of the game. And we saw the home side, they pushed against the 10 men in black and yellow immediately after restart, with Justin Njina, It was Justin Njimna, who actually, and it was also Dukic, both going within a whisker of the target in the opening minutes of the second period. From that particular moment in time, it was just all the home side, because obviously the away side were on the back foot, with a man short playing away from home against the tough Werder Bremen side. It was always going to be very difficult for them. But what we saw is that the visitors did pack, their defensive racks in an effort to actually frustrate Bremen, but they were sprung open by a ball across, the box, from Romano Schmidt, that Ingina just tucked into the back of the net. And it was actually a jittery final 20 minutes that really ensued, with Wisa having a shot in the box deflected behind. We saw substitute Karim Adeyemi, provided an outlet for Borussia Dortmund's attacks on the break. And however, although, their defense really looked, to creak under the hosts' late pressure, with Leonardo Bentancur, having a volley inside the box, turned behind. Then we saw Dukic hitting a stoppage time free kick into the wall. And the visitors were just very lucky, they were just, fortunate that they held out for the narrowest of away victories, to actually secure much needed 3 points in terms of their, Champions League, title. Champions League, chase is concerned, and you look at the fact that we saw that Njimna, who was on Dortmund's books until the end of last season, scored his 6th goal of the campaign, and Bremen are now winless in their past 8 home meetings, with Dortmund losing 6. Werder Bremen have scored 22 of their 34 Bundesliga goals so far this season in the second half of matches, and Malen is now level with Niklas Füllkrug as Dortmund's top Bundesliga scorer this season with 11 goals, and Füllkrug is yet to score against Werder Bremen in 5 appearances against the club where he made his name, and Dortmund are unbeaten in 8 away matches in the Bundesliga. It's their best run since a 10-match road, streak under Jurgen Klopp in the 2012-2013 season. They've only lost 1 of 13 away games in this season, you understand, which was against, Stuttgart, so yeah, Borussia Dortmund have been on a rich vein of form away from home, so that is so great, man, for them, and to say the least, hopefully they can qualify for Champions League next season. And what is to be noticed is the fact that we have seen that the Bundesliga 2 promotion race is really heating up. It's between St. Pauli, they lead Kiel with Hamburg and Fortuna Dusseldorf in pursuit of, top 5 football next season. So St. Pauli are basically ahead at the top of the Bundesliga 2 with, Holstein Kiel in hot pursuit. But it's actually a tight, it's very tight in the chasing pack, below with the likes of Hamburg and Fortuna Düsseldorf still in contention for promotion. And we know that St. Pauli, basically they're in first position, and that's automatic promotion to the Bundesliga. And they're on 48 points. They've played 24 games this season, and they've actually scored 44 goals, and they've only just conceded 25. So they've really done so well for themselves this season. So Pauli, they were unbeaten in a record equaling 25 Bundesliga 2 matches, before losing 1-0 at Magdeburg on, Matchday 21. Fabian Hürseler's team were then superb in beating second place Kiel 4-3 on Matchday 23. But, they lost for a second time this term when Schalke produced a 3-1 victory a week later. It's just incredible. Schalke have really found the going tough, eh? They've really found the going tough. A team that produced the likes of Leroy Sané, that produced players like Manuel Neuer, even Raul played for this team. They've really found the going tough. And however, as for St. Pauli, they remain clear at the summit as they target a first Bundesliga return since 2011. And Holstein Kiel are basically second place, and they also secure automatic promotion if they are to finish in second place, right? So they have 46 points on board, and they've played 25 games. And what I can just say is that they've scored more than 60 goals this term. So Kiel, ended 2023 unbeaten in 6 games, winning 5 in a row, and at top of the table before slipping up at home to Eintracht, Braunschweig, on match day 18. So defeat to Pauli was a setback, and they actually looked, to be heading for a second successive defeat when Hertha Berlin, raced to a 2-0 defeat, a 2-0 lead on matchday 24. But Kiel earned a point, thanks to Timo Becker's 98th minute penalty in a 2-2 draw, a subsequent 1-0 victory against, Karlsruhe, put daylight between the Stocks as well as the third spot. So, it's getting heated. It's really getting heated in Bundesliga too. As for Hamburg, if they are to finish in third position, they will gain automatic playoffs, so it will be promotion playoffs for them, right? It's not automatic, it will be promotion playoffs for them. And what I can just say is that the fact that, yes, they have 41 points, they've played 25 games this season, and they were unfortunate to be beaten by, Stuttgart in last season's promotion playoff. Hamburg are knocking at the top flight's door once more, in the 2023-2024, but have drifted in recent weeks. We saw coach Tim Walter replaced by, Stefan Baumgart, in February, with the former Cologne and Paderborn boss, overseeing victory in his first game in charge on matchday 23. His side fell to, a surprising defeat to rock bottom Osnabrück, 1 week later though, and they were then beaten by fourth place Fortuna Düsseldorf on matchday 25. So Fortuna Düsseldorf are now in fourth, and they basically have 40 points, and they've played 25 games. And Düsseldorf have been, out of the top flight ever since relegation in the 2019-20 season. With last season's fourth place finished their best attempt at promotion intervening 3 seasons. Daniel Tihoun's, team are having another good crack, added in the 2023-2024 season, and victory over Hamburg, on matchday 25. Reduce the deficit, to, Hamburg, just to 1 point. And Fortuna Düsseldorf, will actually earn a statement in matchday 25, if they are to win, over Hamburg, right? So in fifth place, we have Hanover. They've played 25 games. They've got 39 points, right? They're basically in fifth position. So they're actually on a 5-game unbeaten run, including 4 straight wins, heading into a propelled Hanover, to within touching distance of their promotion places. And however, a surprise 1-0 loss at bottom side, Osnabrück, on matchday 23 meant they missed the chance to climb into playoff spot, and a comeback from 2-0 down at home to Fortuna left them 3 points off the top 3, a gap that was subsequently narrowed with a 1-1 draw against, Wehen, Wiesbaden. And almost, we are about to get there, Bundesliga 2. So in number 6, coming at number 6, we have Paderborn. Paderborn, are in 6th position, basically on 39 points, and they've played 25 games. So having found themselves fitting around mid-table for the majority of, Hinrunde, Paderborn are now well placed to make a run, on the outside in what is turning, to be a hotly contested promotion race. And a run of 3 wins from their last 6 stretches, to 6 victories in 11. And they are now, within, striking distance of, Hanover, right? With just 2 points separating the 2 teams. You understand? And I can say it's getting heated up, man. It's really getting heated up. And at 7th, we have what? Greuther Fürth, right? They are in 7th position. They've accumulated 38 points this season, and they've played 24 games. And in 14th, as late as matchday 10th, Fürth, went up to 3rd in a 7-game winning streak, only for a 3-2 defeat at St. Pauli to set them back, a little. They are now 7th, but still within reach of promotion playoff berth. Wow, it's getting heated, eh? I must say it's really getting heated. It's getting heated. It's getting heated, man. Because, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Let me just tell you guys something. If things continue like this in Bundesliga 2, what could happen? What literally could happen? Which teams do you think we'll see in the top flight next season? You tell me. And Red Bull Leipzig, now they did bounce back, following their Champions League exit. They've now bounced back via a 2-0 victory at home. So you just break down how the game went, against Darmstadt, right? At the Red Bull Arena, obviously. So It was actually an early lead. Red Bull Leipzig took an early lead, through Escherwood, an own goal by Escherwood. And then Christoph, Baumgartner, grabbed the second goal for RB Leipzig. And it was actually an important 3 points for them, So Leipzig went ahead in the third minute, as David Room, brought the ball into the Darmstadt penalty area. And then after a short corner kick, we saw the defender of Darmstadt, Thomas Escherwood, deflected with his chest into his own net. And Leipzig pushed for a second, but, the visitors, withstood the pressure. And in the 23rd minute of the game, we saw the Lillian ventured forward, and Gerrit, Holtman aimed for the far corner with his left foot, but Peter, Gilski, got down and deflected the ball for a corner. After a good half hour, they increased the tempo again, and it was actually Xavi Simons as well as Elmas, with good chances in the penalty area. And after the break, the Leipzig immediately went in search for a second goal, and we saw Lois Openda had 2 big chances from close range. However, he just couldn't add to his, incredible goal scoring form this season. But the first of which was actually thwarted by the Darmstadt keeper, Marcel, Schuhen. And in the 50th minute, Christoph, Baumgartner, who came on as a substitute, at the break, was actually finally able to make it 2-0 with a low shot. And Darmstadt came back through Julian Gustaven, Castillo Jr. and Peter, Golska, cleared together. But the next chance fell to Lois Openda once again. And a little later, before Peter made 2 strong saves against Oscar, Wilhelmsen, you understand, and Tobias Kempe. After that, Red Bull Leipzig had everything under control again, and Benjamin Sesko almost increased their lead in stoppage time. So it was an incredible and important 3 points for Red Bull Leipzig at home. And yeah, Friday night action. So Stuttgart, they won by 2-0 over Union Berlin, and which means that Stuttgart, they're now closing in on second spot, following that 2-0 victory over Union Berlin at home. So, Stuttgart, secured another 2-0 victory, over Union Berlin with goals from, Seru Kurasi as well as Chris, Furrich, right, on Friday night as they closed in on second place, Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga. So Stuttgart have now gone 7 games unbeaten to actually reach 53 points, in the league. Basically, they are now 9 clear of Borussia Dortmund in 4th and actually 1 behind Bayern Munich. So both with the game in hand, Bayer Leverkusen lead on 64 points. And the Bundesliga second top goal scorer, Kurasi, put the hosts ahead in the 19th minute with the 21st league goal of the season, thanks to a fine finish at the far post, while Furrich, double Stuttgart's lead with a superb strike in the 65th minute of the game. And the visitors, were actually down to 10 men 4 minutes later, when Andras, Skaffer was sent off, for a foul on Joshua Vergnomen, So the defeat now means Union Berlin remain in 14th with 25 points, just 8 clear of the relegation playoff spot. So, yeah, man, that's just the story for Union Berlin. They're not gonna, make it to the Champions League next season like they did this season. So there's no Champions League football for Union Berlin next season.